this video, I'm going to talk about how I like piss. Coming in Aetherdrift, we're getting our first yellow bordered cards, or more accurately, gold bordered cards, which means they're not the first ones because these already exist. People seem to be quite low on this and think they look quite terrible. The digital renders looking very, very like someone who hasn't drunk enough water taking a massive piss all over your magic cards. Let's talk about these cards and how I quite like them. And if you are looking to pick up Aetherdrift product, single or sealed, that isn't covered in human urine, you can buy from coolstuffinc.com. Use the code KENOBI at checkout to get 5% off your order, and you get one of these free playtest stickers to turn a draft common into PleasantKenobi's clown car, a vehicle for your party box. Link in the description below, and if you like the channel, you can support me via Patreon too. There's a link down below to that as well, so you can come on my Discord and talk about piss with me. These golden shower foils, also known as first place foils, will only appear in the box topper packs that come in the booster boxes for play boosters and collector boosters, and the finish line bundle as well. This means they are akin to the box toppers of Ultimate Masters as a card type that you're not going to get hold of very easily. And the sheet looks a bit like this. All of these yellow borders, or gold borders, I'll show you the actual like physical renderings of them in a moment, will be in this slot. You got Boommobile, you got Draconaut Engineers, the new Hazaret, all these rares. And as we get towards the bottom, you've got the new rare land cycle, and we've got basic lands as well. I actually really like the new first-person racing lands, if I'm completely honest. They're going to be available, as are the comic book art ones, and then it looks like some of the sort of like Hot Wheels, I don't know what to describe these as, the Draconautic Engineer you can see at the bottom, that style too. That means you could open a basic island, or you could open a playable commander or standard rare. If you want to hear me talk about the majority of the spoilers, that's in a separate video where I talk about Aetherdrift spoilers in their entirety. I want to talk about piss borders separately. And I've got my own preview card that I'll be revealing on the 23rd, which is tomorrow. So if you aren't subbed to the channel, why don't you sub right now by clicking the subscribe button? That's right, this is a stealthy call to action, baby. Now, I'm saying they're piss borders because they're so like neon yellow. But when you actually see the foiling in like a video that they put out on Twitter, the foiling is very different. I actually like the neon yellow more than I think I like the gold. So ultimately, I don't think I'm too hot on these. But I was shocked to see people be so adverse and so against the idea of this yellow or neon yellowy gold sort of look. It's meant to be first place, meant to be gold, right? It would be nice to get like gold, silver, and bronze, perhaps. Red, yellow, and green. More. If you're going to go in on the racing punch shit, go all the way, I guess, is what I'm saying. And for the record, I think I really like the stark contrast of the yellow on black here, as opposed to like, I was quite down on the initial digital renderings of the red secret lair cards. They're a lot nicer in the flesh because they were sort of like a red hue, a red filter put over the blacks and stuff. So in case anyone's remembering me not being high on that secret lair, that's because I don't think it leans into the motif enough like these yellow ones do. One of the observations is that the yellow border is not going to signify anything. You know, white border used to be reprints, gold border used to be proxies. But none of that makes any fucking sense anymore, right? White borders were brought back as a nostalgia thing, that although they were for reprints and mystery booster, but they brought back for nostalgia bait. And gold border does not denote proxy anymore because Magic 30 was not gold bordered. I guess the argument could be super overpriced proxies are in black border, whilst proxies for the scrubs that they'll never actually redo at a cheaper price will be in gold. That's one argument you could make. But borders mean so little now with the way that we've expanded the way things look. For example, this new like art trim we're seeing on Chandra and Loot, I don't like it at all. It is so busy. Like, even the non-confettitized, non-fucking assault to my eyeballs version is just not for me. And the thing is, I don't mind it existing. I'm happy that you guys like it. We have these in Foundations too. This Llanowar Elves got people frothing from the puss, and I just did not give a shit. And that's what's great about the aesthetic, like, melding of new items within the game. You don't actually have to care if there are other versions that you can pick up. You can get the first-person lands not looking oversaturated, smelling of sugar puffs, and sticky with a touch of piss. The other observation is that yellow borders is what Pokemon just did away with, and they're just copying Pokemon. Okay, this is a point for like maybe a wider video soon, but the idea of you doing something similar to a competitor, or even exactly the same as a competitor, it's not necessarily theft or like, you know, amoral copying. The use of the Akira slide is a homage to the Akira slide. There's literally a compilation video doing the rounds at the moment talking about the Akira slide and how it's been copied for the last 30 years in a homage kind of way by TV shows. Like every fucking anime under the sun has done the Akira slide at some point. It doesn't mean that they are amoral or bad for doing so. The fact that we are doing the racing thing and Chandra's in red, it kind of makes sense. It's just a cute little thing to do. It's not theft of intellectual property. In the same way that this card does look like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and I'm pretty sure it's on purpose, because Yu-Gi-Oh did the cards on motorcycles thing first, so why not pay homage to one of your biggest rivals and competitors that has existed in the space simultaneously with you for 30 years? Even if the yellow borders were to ape the old look of Pokemon, that isn't necessarily a criticism, right? You might not like it, that's fair and valid. Your feelings are valid. But saying because they did one thing that looks like a Pokemon, it's bad, is not a valid criticism. And this is coming from a guy who thinks the set looks a bit Pokemon-like. Cute fucking animals, an abundance of anthropomorphized creatures, very vibrant colors, and then yellow borders peppered across the fucking preview articles. The alternate look for loot, as we've shown here, and other very vibrant, very popping in high contrast colors, again, remind me of Pokemon art treatments. And you can criticize that, but the criticism isn't they may be looking a little bit like Pokemon. Why is that inherently bad? Is it that the game is being marketed to a group that you don't think it should be marketed to? Do you feel like it's not being marketed to you anymore? Do you feel like it's lost part of its charm by having much more handcrafted looking art? There are things to criticize, discuss, or not like, but please unpack them beyond the whole, oh my god, they did an Akira. All I'm asking for is for some more honesty around the things you're upset or frustrated about, as opposed to rather intellectually dishonest arguments that are scraping the bottom of the barrel and grabbing the lowest hanging fruit. Often the criticisms I see leveled at Magic by the people who want to criticize absolutely everything, the people that really should try playing a different game because nothing Wizards do will ever make them happy, those criticisms are often things that are simplistic observations, more so than actual criticisms. This looks like Pokemon. This looks like Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a reference to Akira. Now there is a fair statement to be said, and this is the one that I kind of land on a little bit, is that these references, like the Akira slide, absolutely fly better when the game itself has its own identity. And Magic is struggling to have its own identity. I think this set might be better than the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 in terms of doing that, excluding Foundations, I think, as it seems to earnestly be trying to engage with the idea that the Omen Paths might have brought about some sort of cross-collaboration between planes. But when we've got outside of a year of just 80s horror pop references and cosplaying as cowboys and detectives and beach episodes, it does make the references feel a little bit more tired, I guess. I think the real criticism that comes up with this piss rare thing is that there's going to be haves and have-nots, and this always happens with the box topper thing. You're going to crack a few boxes, and someone's going to open Valor's flagship that's probably going to be like a reanimated targeting standard for a long time, and that will demand a price tag. Meanwhile, Urine-soaked Forest may not have the same value, but it's an extra thing. They're not really, in theory, judging us more for the box toppers, except for the boxes are small and the prices are kind of staying the same. I don't think it's much of a problem. I do like the look of it. I do like the Pandora's box of how Magic doesn't look like Magic anymore is wide open, and I like to see them experimenting. Sometimes they will whiff. Sometimes they'll do things that I don't personally vibe with, but weirdly, the meme of my cards looking like they're covered in piss and being this vibrantly colourful does. Also, full transparencies of biases on display here. Yellow is one of my favourite colours. When I started painting my orcs in yellow about 3 or 4 years ago, it kind of like rewired my brain. I'd always had red as like my favourite like colour to have as like the colour of a car in a video game. When I started painting vibrant yellows, I liked it. Started wearing more yellow t-shirts. You might have noticed that in videos and stuff. So like vibrant contrast between a popping yellow and a dark saturated black. Oh, I love it. Some of the arts work better than others. Hazaret Godseeker, for example's background looks more, I guess, naturalistic alongside the colour. Well, Chandra Spark Hunter does look like, I don't want to say a bad Photoshop, but I feel like it's the old art and then someone's done a bad mask job. I'm saying it, aren't I? I'm saying bad mask job. I don't think it looks terrible, but it doesn't look like it's the first pass I would have done on Photoshop trying to get the background to be separated from the foreground colours. Anyway, that's piss rares. They're coming to a box topper near you. They're going to be quite rare, so you're not going to see whole decks of these. If you see a whole deck of these, they're probably quite expensive. These are going to have quite the price tag, considering there's only 1 per box. It is making me want to buy another box, if I'm going to be honest. Just 1 box to crack, see what my box topper is. But to be honest, the price of Aetherdrift is so high, I'm not sure if I'm buying a box of this. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. Thanks for listening to my piss talk. If you want to see more talk of all the spoilers, there'll be a full video out today or tomorrow morning on that. And don't forget to subscribe, because tomorrow we've got my preview card. See you in that one, friends. Ta-ta for now.